In the original Kenner Star Wars line that came out from 1978 to 1985, give or take a few months on either end, you pretty much knew you were an important character if you made it in the line. It tended to be the benchmark that a lot of fans held over who was an important character in the content, in the trilogy. And the most important character was the character who got the most number of action figures. And of course, I'm talking about Luke Skywalker. And the reason Luke Skywalker got so many action figures is, well, not only was he the star of the film and the clear hero, but he had a lot of costume changes. And not just costume changes for changing costume's sake, he had to change outfits for the actual storyline and for what was happening, to pilot vehicles, or to invade the Death Star, or train with Yoda on Dagobah. I mean, you're not going to wear your Hoth outfit on Dagobah, right? He also had outfits that really didn't show up on screen, yet seemed to be part of pop culture, like his good old Tatooine floppy hat and, poncho. And heck, we've even had action figures based on this look, even though it's really just from deleted scenes. But hey, it just goes to speak how popular Luke Skywalker is, that even deleted scenes get... Okay, well, he did wear the poncho in Docking Bay 94 for like 10 seconds. But one of the other outfits that didn't really get much action figure or consumer product love until recently was his ceremonial outfit. The one he wears at the very end of A New Hope when he's getting his medal from Princess Leia. This is the black pants or dark brown pants with the black shirt and the bright yellow jacket. And while he never had a figure in this outfit in the original line, well, the door was now wide open in Power of the Force 2 to start mining all of the characters that never had figures and could finally get a plastic update. So, while Ceremonial Luke couldn't join our adventures as childhood, that makes no sense, in our childhood. Well, now this Luke Skywalker from the very last scene of A New Hope, whether he's marching down a Yavin throne room or standing still and smiling because he just blew up the Death Star committing mass murder. Well, okay, I guess he had to do it in self-defense, but, you ever think of it from the Empire's point of view? Okay, Clerk's already covered that. The point is, this was a really dashing and very different look for Luke, and it symbolized not only the fact that he was part of the rebellion, but he was no longer a farm boy, and he was now part of the galaxy at large, and he was going to dress more like a citizen of the galaxy. And we finally got a consumer product of this in the form of an action figure in Power of the Force 2. And it was a wave of one. Much like the Rebel Trooper was, this was a figure that shipped with no one else in the Master Carton. Well, other figures, but no other new ones. And much like Grand Moff Tarkin, who came a few waves before him, Ceremonial Luke got the bonus of getting a sticker on his blister. This time it didn't note that he was never before offered, although that would have been valid too. But this time the sticker noted that this particular Luke Skywalker was an all-new likeness. And the reason to call that out was to mostly let parents, and I guess collectors, know that unlike every previous Luke Skywalker figure that was offered in the Power of the Force 2 line, this figure had a different head sculpt. Every other figure, well, I guess except for the Snowspeeder / X-Wing pilot Luke, heck, even the Shadows of the Empire Luke, they all used the same head sculpt. And now, for the first time, with Ceremonial Luke, well, we were getting a brand new, what the industry calls, portrait of Luke Skywalker, or, well, Mark Hamill, but, of the character Mark Hamill plays. And he came with the needed accessories, a blaster, and a removable Yavin medal. And we're going to get into that blaster in a moment because it's an important part of the figure and, well, Star Wars history. You could remove the jacket, but the sleeves were not removable. So you got kind of this weird hodgepodge of black t-shirt with puffy green sleeves if you tried to do that. But, toy collectors, of course we tried to do that. And obviously he got reissued with the requisite freeze frame slide, because as I've noted, kids love playing with slides. And by this time in the line, while we still got a cross-sell on the back, the bio had long been removed and replaced with an image from the film, which, of course, brought back memories of this great scene where Chewbacca is totally snubbed and doesn't get his medal, while Han and Luke get the applause of the entire rebellion. Yes, I know Chewbacca finally got a medal in like episode 9, and there was like a tear to shed and all that. But one of the cool things about the medal was we now actually had one in toy form. we'd never had this before. So you can not only recreate the Yavin scene, but if you really wanted to create justice in the world, you could take the medal that comes with Luke Skywalker and now for the first time give it to Chewbacca yourself and feel like you're finally doing the Wookiee justice. See, toys make everything right. All right, so let's talk about the scene and the outfit that Luke is wearing because it's actually kind of important for Star Wars history. So, while you're familiar with the scene, this shot might be a little odd, and you might be thinking, whoa, when in the world did Luke dress like this and wield his lightsaber? Well, not in the movie, but publicity still after publicity still after publicity still was done with Luke in the black shirt and the brown pants with both a lightsaber and this blaster, and we'll get back to the blaster in a moment. Of course, there were publicity stills also done of Luke in his Tatooine farm boy garb, and there were publicity stills of his sister, and there were publicity stills of him and his sister. But you got a lot of stills taken of Luke taking daring do poses, shall we say, holding that blaster and the black shirt. And it kind of begs the question of why. I mean, he not only barely wore the yellow jacket in the film, but he never even took it off, nor posed with this gun. So why are there so many images of Mark Hamill posing for publicity shots with this long-barreled gun in a black t-shirt? And gosh, he definitely never had a lightsaber in this outfit. Well, the reason is this. Originally, the Yavin scene was filmed with Luke without a yellow jacket. But looking at the dailies, Lucas realized that Luke wasn't popping on screen. He was kind of blending into the background and even blending into Han, who was also wearing a black vest with a white shirt. So reshoots were done, and Luke was upgraded from just wearing the black shirt to getting a bright yellow jacket, specifically so he would stand out in the crowd, and you would know that was Luke, and you would see him, and it wouldn't just be a guy in a black shirt. That's why there's so many publicity stills. That was meant to be his final look in the film, and it was changed after the publicity stills were already taken. So that's why there are no stills of him in the yellow jacket, but a ton of him wielding this blaster and looking, badass. Speaking of that blaster, let's talk about that as far as a toy accessory. So the figure from Power of the Force 2 comes with what's commonly called the Han Solo blaster or the Rebel blaster, which is the one based on the German Mauser. Well, Luke does not have this blaster, not only in the film, but he does not have the Han Solo blaster. He has this one, the long-barreled blaster, which I know has a technical name, and people will put it in the comments. So you may recognize this blaster, though, because it does have a more iconic moment in the film, and that's this one, when Princess Leia is using it on the Tantive at the very beginning of the film to try to escape from stormtroopers. So why does Luke have Princess Leia's blaster when he's in his ceremony outfit? Well, that's because he was given this blaster. In fact, he even has a whole elongated holster created in order to hold it, because it's such a long blaster in order to have it on his leg, if you will. It won't just fit in a regular holster. So there's a whole it's a kind of a throwaway line, but in the radio drama, it's explained that Leia gives him, as a gift, her blaster and the yellow jacket in order to give him a more man-of-the-galaxy look, if you will, so he doesn't have to face all the rebels in his farm attire. And that's kind of the backstory to his blaster and jacket. It's like a moment between him and Leia. And, it was also meant to be the look that he would have between A New Hope and Empire before they get to Hoth. Obviously, things happened, like on Ord Mantell. And this figure could work for that. It was both a ceremonial Luke figure, and it was your between movies figure, which I always think those figures are great because they really inspire kids' imagination to create play in order to fill in the gap. Now, while this character never had a figure in the vintage line, that was definitely not so in the modern line. In Power of the Force 2 almost tripled down, if you will, doing a 3 3/4, a 12-inch, and then a 3 3/4 2-pack with Leia, which we'll be getting to sooner than later. And this was great because you could remove Luke's jacket and just have the black shirt look. And it's the only figure that's ever been able to do that. Every other ceremonial Luke has had the jacket sculpted on. So we'll get to that one in a few videos from now since we're going in chronological order. And of course, we'll get to the other ceremonial Lukes, which sometimes are called Yavin Luke, sometimes ceremonial Luke, but it's all the same thing, and he always comes with a medal. And by now, if you have all of them, you have quite a few medals. In fact, he's even been done not just once in the Black series of 6-inch figures as a basic figure, but he had a release as a deluxe figure at GameStop, where he came with a ton of accessories that he did not use in this outfit at all, like the blast shield helmet and the trainer remote and a book, and I don't know. But at least they got the blaster right, as opposed to the Power of the Force 2 figure, which, even though they had Leia's blaster as an option, it was tooled, he was given the standard Han blaster. So, among the figures we never got in the vintage line, Ceremonial Luke, Yavin Luke, whatever you want to call him, he was now here for your collection, and was great because he could represent the Yavin ceremony scene or all those adventures that happened between movie. And kind of glad they gave him that yellow jacket. It does make him stand out.